An update on breaking news now. Gubernatorial candidate Tom Steyer releasing a statement moments ago about San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan's announcement that he's running for governor, saying in part, the race for California's future is coming into focus. Californians will choose between a government captured by wealthy interests and corporations raking in record profits, or one that stands with working people and demands fairness and shared responsibility. Tom Steyer will continue to make the case that billionaires and wealthy corporations should pay their fair shares so we can fund schools, healthcare, and core services. That statement again coming from Tom Steyer. And of course, this run for governor has been rumored for a couple of weeks. This run for governor by San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan just announced.
ABC 7 News political insider Phil Matier joins us live to talk about Mahan's entry into the crowded race. Phil, again, no surprises here. Your reaction?
Well, I think there's a little bit of a surprise, the idea that somebody that is a first-time mayor of San Jose would be jumping into something as big as the California governor's race, but that says a lot about how the race is going. We have 10 Democrats so far that have already announced that they're running for governor of California, plus 2 or more Republicans. And it's really split up the race. And so what we have basically is San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, who you might have noticed in recent months, we've been seeing more and more and more of on TV, on the nightly news on ABC 7, as he's increased his profile. And so now he's decided to make the jump that just a couple of months ago he was saying he wasn't ready for. Now he says he's ready. At 43, he's entering the race to become the next governor of California.
And you mentioned it, Phil. He's only been in politics since 2020. Talk about the name recognition he has to build. We know him here in the Bay Area, but California is a big state.
Yeah.
It is. It's a huge state with huge media markets like Los Angeles, San Diego, and the Bay Area. It's going to be difficult for him to get the recognition he needs, they say, to win the race. But on the other hand, let's take a look at another factor involved here, and that's where he's running from. That's San Jose. As you just pointed out, he's known in the Bay Area. And there's 2 big buckets of Democratic votes in the state of California. One is in Los Angeles, and the other is in the Bay Area. So for the first round, when you're trying to get into the playoffs, the idea is to get as many votes as you can, and he has a shot at getting the Bay Area. Now, we don't have as many votes as Los Angeles, but we vote more. We turn out in bigger numbers. So if you can capture the Bay Area, there's got a good shot you'll make it into the runoff. Just ask Gavin Newsom, Jerry Brown, and a host of other Democratic candidates that have elevated to the top using that tactic.
And Phil, both Zach and I have been South Bay reporters covering Matt Mahan's run for mayor even. We know that he was talking really about going back to basics, talking about accountability, transparency by our city government at the time. It was a message that really resonated with people. Do you think that he's going to bring a lot of that into his talking points in his gubernatorial run?
That's his hope. His hope is that unlike, let's say, San Francisco billionaire Tom Steyer, who's already spending millions of dollars on television ads to announce his candidacy on the idea of affordability and taking things back to basics, I think all the candidates are going to be talking about bringing things back to the basics. Matt Mahan has maybe a track record, not a long one, but a track record in that direction. He's also the only Democratic candidate I know so far who's been critical of Gavin Newsom vocally. Matt Mahan backed Proposition 36, which called for tougher drug crimes and laws, and an end to the easy shoplifting laws. He bucked the governor on that. He's criticized Gavin Newsom for not delivering on other promises as well. It's going to be interesting to see how this runs. All you need is 10 or 12% so far to get into the runoff. There are 10 Democratic candidates running. And so Governor Gavin Newsom's going to be finding himself actually running for president, but at the same time being under attack, I think, I'm not sure how hard of an attack, by these candidates who say it's time to get back to basics. It's time to do something about utility bills. It's time to do something about the streets and keeping them clean and the homeless.
Yeah, and we have seen him break from party a few times now. But talk about the stakes for the Democratic Party in this governor's race, because it is such a tightly packed race for Democrats. The stakes could work in the Republicans' favor because of how our primary system works.
Exactly. Unlike in the past or other states where the top Democratic voter and the top Republican voter go into the final election, in California, it's the top 2 vote getters. And as it stands right now, according to the polling, the Democrats are all split up, with the highest of them, East Bay Congressman Eric Swalwell and former Representative Katie Porter, at best doing it about 12 to 14%. Meanwhile, the Republican side, which has two primary candidates, is their Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco is up there with 14 or 15%. There is a possibility, statistically, it's a long shot, that the two Republicans could actually be the two top vote getters in the first round, and the Democrats could ice themselves out. The question is somebody going to come in and say, hey, we've got too many horses in this race. It's going to be a crowded field, and we could have a big pileup. I just don't know who in the state has that ability anymore to tell somebody to back off. As it stands right now, everybody is in.
Yeah, Phil, a crowded field, one more added. San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan announcing his run.
But it's a horse from our neighborhood.
That's true. That's true, Phil. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
as always, for your expertise in this.